Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm David Bowles, and today we are going to discover the real meaning of RelationShaping. The river and the trained eye. I keep walking past the same stretch of river. Most days I cross over it. Sometimes I stop. There is a place along the New Jersey side of the Hudson where you can stand and see the water moving in two directions at the same time, depending on where you fix your eyes. The surface goes one way. Beneath it, the deeper current is going the other way. The Mohican word for the river is Muhheakantuck. It means the waters that are never still. When you say the word, you have already been told what to look for. This is what I have been thinking about for the last several months while finishing a book that came out this week. The book is called RelationShaping, Field Studies. It is the companion volume to the Scientific Aesthetic, and it asks one question across 10 different settings. What changes about a person when they become trained to see something the rest of us walk past? The book's working claim is that relational seeing is a competence, a real competence, the kind you acquire the way a child acquires reading. Reading is acquired somewhere in the practice. After several thousand hours of reading across genres against difficulty with attention, the capacity arrives. There is no moment to point to. Sentences just appear, and you know what they say. Reading French is the same. The capacity arrives somewhere in the reading itself, after the exercise sets are done, after several thousand pages have crossed the eye against difficulty. Relational seeing works the same way. The painter who has spent 40 years arranging bottles on a shelf is doing something the rest of us cannot do when we look at the same shelf. We see the bottles. The painter sees the field of light between them, the silent geometry that the bottles together produce, the spatial argument they make as a group. Giorgio Morandi spent 40 years doing this in a small room in Bologna. He left a body of work that documents what the trained eye saw. Michael Faraday spent 3 decades arranging iron filings on paper around magnets. He saw a field structure where his predecessors had only seen action at a distance. His notebooks document the slow acquisition of a perceptual capacity that became the field concept of modern physics. What I want to say on this episode is that the question of who has this kind of competence and how it gets acquired, and what conditions support it, is a question about what kind of beings we are. Perception is something we are trained into. The world that shows itself to us is the world our trained perception is equipped to find. 2 people standing on the same riverbank, looking at the same water, see different rivers depending on what they have been trained to attend to. The biologist sees an estuary, a salt and fresh mixing zone, a habitat for anadromous fish that come up from the Atlantic to spawn. A historian sees the cargo route that built New York City. For the indigenous knowledge holder, this is Muhheakantuck, the waters that move in 2 directions. The relational system the Mohican and Munsey Lenape understood across generations of close attention. None of them is hallucinating. Each is seeing what their training equips them to see. Perception is a discipline. So is attention. The world arrives to us through other people who have shown us what to look for since we were small and pointing at things and asking what they were called. The reason I wrote the book now and the reason I am talking about it on this episode is that the conditions under which this kind of training happens are under pressure. The disciplines that teach relational seeing depend on long apprenticeship, sustained attention, communities of practice, and time. None of those is in good supply right now. The classroom where a student spends 3 years learning to read counterpoint is closing. A studio where a painter spends decades looking at the same shelf is becoming economically impossible. Forests where a botanist learns to read a mycorrhizal network are being cut. The conditions for the trained eye are becoming the conditions for the rare survival of the trained eye. I do not have a clean answer to that. Neither does the book. What the book does is name the competence, document it across 10 different domains, and try to articulate what we lose when the conditions for its acquisition stop holding. The closing chapters extend the argument into harder territory. The methodological problem of attending to relations that have not yet been discovered, and the contemporary cultural and political conditions under which the discipline of attending to the between has come under pressure. I will go back to the river. The river will keep moving in 2 directions. I will keep trying to see both at once. The book is RelationShaping, Field Studies. It is available now from David Bowles Books, in print, in ebook, and as a free PDF download from bowlesbooks.com. For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm David Bowles, wishing you a shaped evening and a relational tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Be a human meme.